Hey there. Hey there. Ho there. Hi there. I didn't expect to see you guys so soon. That's why my hair was looking like a little noodle bed for a second. Sorry about that. Hey, Melissa. I have not seen your name in quite some time. Melissa, thank you so much for joining me for this read. And I'm glad, so glad to see you, girl. Okay, we about to get into it. Hi, Street Therapy. I missed you too, baby. Period. So glad to see y'all in here. You guys, I'm going to be doing some other type of stuff on this channel. I want to have a morning show for this channel. And thank you. Oh, you've been on a birthday vacation? Okay, girl. I see you. Happy belated birthday to you. Happy belated birthday. You guys, if you can, go ahead and share this video wherever you feel like it. Go ahead and take some time for me real quick. Share this video, even if it is just to your own community wall. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to post on my community wall. And then I'm going to post on my Tea Hive Book Club community wall as well to let them know that I'm over here and I am live. We're about to get to this reading. And I'm going to do 2 reads tonight because I want to start another book. It is an urban book. And I want to start another book tonight. So we are definitely going to get it and get into it. Happy belated birthday to Melissa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nani. Thank you. Oh no, I need it completely off. No, this isn't completely off. I need this completely off. Thank you so much. And happy belated birthday to happy birthday today to Monique Slaughter and Demita Alford, my VIPT. And happy belated birthday to Melissa. Are you sure you're just doing the thread? Because it don't look like it. Okay. All right. Let's get to what we were reading. We were reading Wildfire. This is our second reading. I want to read us through this for about an hour, but I want to share the page with y'all. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me get. Teleprompter is crazy. Is that a new thing? They changed this platform a little bit. And okay, here we go. They changed things just a little bit. So I want to share screen. And I want to come over here. We're going to come this way. We are headed over to Wattpad. Perfect. Okay. Is that clean? The stove? Clean? I mean, like super clean. It got to be super clean. Sit it down on there. Thank you. I get a little bit, I feel some type of way about my stove being clean. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get to Wildfire real quick. We are on chapter 4, Collateral Heartburn. Tess Calder, Manhattan, New York. And this is by Ren Ain't No Saint on Wattpad. You guys can go read this for yourself if you would like to. It's called Wildfire, Johnny Storm, F4. Okay? The sun hit me like a personal attack. I groaned, rolling over with the grace of a dying sea lion and immediately regretting it. My head throbbed, sharp and rhythmic, like a jackhammer had taken up residence just above my right temple. I winced, reaching up to touch the sore spot, and my fingers came away with flaky, dried blood. I blinked twice at the ceiling, letting the memory settle in. Rubble, smoke, a camera strap digging into my neck, a fire-powered pain in the rear scooping me off the pavement like I was a windswept receipt. Johnny Storm. I frowned. Had that really happened? The rooftop? Yes. The rescue? Unfortunately, yes. But the window? The hovering? The tell your grandma I came by for coffee? I slid up slowly, scanning the room like there might be evidence, a scorch mark on the sill, an out of place footprint, a note maybe that said, nice bruise, sweet pajamas, call me. But there was nothing, just the usual mess laundry, notebooks, an empty coffee mug on a nightstand. My camera bag still zipped shut beside my backpack. The window was locked, the air was still. Maybe I dreamed it. Maybe my head injury came with some hallucinations now. I rubbed my face with both hands, groaning. I'm never living this down if I made up a superhero breaking into my room. I shuffled out of bed, gritting my teeth up against the soreness in my everything. Somewhere in the other room, I could hear the clinks of dishes, the low murmur of the radio. Grandma was awake, probably elbow deep in eggs and sass already. I made a beeline for the bathroom first, dragging my feet across the cold linoleum like a zombie with joint problems. The door creaked shut behind me, and I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror and immediately regretted it. Yikes! The gash looked worse in daylight, purpling at the edges, streaked faintly with dry blood and soot. My hair was a matted mess, some cruel mix of braid and battlefield, and mascara had smudged halfway down my cheek. I looked like someone who had fought a chimney and lost. I peeled off my shirt, hissing at the scrape on my side, and stepped into the shower. Hot water hit my skin, and I flinched, but didn't step back. The sting was sharp, cleansing, like the whole day before needed to be boiled off. I stood there a long time, letting the water pound against my shoulders, rinse the ash from my scalp, fill the room with steam and silence. Still, that question sat heavy in the back of my mind. Was he really here? Johnny Storm? In my window? In my room? The memory felt too vivid to be fake. The look on his face, that dumb smirk, the way he said nice article like it meant something. I scrubbed a hand down my face. Get a grip, Calder, I muttered. You've got enough problems without catching feelings for a fireball. By the time I shut off the water and wrapped myself in a towel, I'd almost convinced myself it didn't happen. Almost. The smell of coffee hit me before I stepped into the kitchen. I padded in barefoot, hair towel dried, barefoot, hair towel dried, and shoved into a lazy bun, wearing one of Grandma's oversized cardigans over a old tank top, and sweatpants. The cardigan smelled like fabric softener and cinnamon, and I wasn't giving it back anytime soon. Grandma stood at the stove, flipping something that crackled and hissed in the skillet. Probably bacon. Her robe was belted tight, the radio murmuring some early morning jazz behind her. When she saw me, she didn't say anything right away. She just gave me a once over and clicked her tongue. I seen raccoons look better after a thunderstorm. Morning to you, too, I muttered, sliding into the chair at the table and pouring myself a cup of coffee. My muscles screamed in protest. She set a plate in front of me with a soft clatter. Eggs, toast, and yes, bacon. The good kind. Crispy edges, just shy of burned. She didn't ask if I wanted it. She knew I'd eat it. You were gone a long time yesterday, she said casually, settling across from me with her own mug. Didn't even hear you come in. It was late, I mumbled, chewing toast. Midtown was an absolute mess. Mm-hmm. She sipped. That fire downtown looked nasty. Wasn't just a fire, I said. Something went full horror movie robot in the middle of 42nd. Building collapse, casualties, property damage, the whole doomsday starter pack. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. You were there? Sort of, I said, trying to not wince as I touched the edge of the bandage on my temple. More like accidentally on purpose wound up in the blast radius. She stopped mid sip. Before you freak out, I said quickly. I'm fine. Just a scratch. I stayed behind a taxi. Did everything safe-ish. You say that like safe-ish isn't code for bad idea with fantastic lighting, she said, eyes narrowing. I gave her a sheepish smile. Got some food, got some footage though, good footage though. Human Torch showed up, did the whole fireball saves the day routine. Her spoon clicked softly against her plate. The Johnny Storm? Yep. She leaned back in her chair, eyeing me over her glasses. And he saved you. Technically, I was just in the path of imminent death. He sort of removed me from it. Grandma didn't say anything right away, just kept watching me like she was trying to see past the words to whatever I was saying. I shoved a bite of egg into my mouth. Anyway, I wrote it up, sent it up to Dan last night. Did he like it? Didn't fire me, so yeah, I think so. She nodded, but the look in her eyes hadn't softened. You gonna give me a heart attack one of these days. You know that. Yeah. I reached across the table and squeezed her hand. Not today, though. She squeezed back. Better not be any day. I kept my sunglasses low and my hood up, trying not to draw attention. The bandage above my temple throbbed in time with my heartbeat. And I hadn't exactly done a stellar job at cleaning it. Hence the pharmacy run. The corner drugstore wasn't far, just a few blocks down, tucked between a hardware shop and a bodega that sold mango slices year round. It was quiet when I stepped inside, soft elevator music, the scent of rubbing alcohol, and those awful cinnamon broomsticks that someone is always insists are seasonal. I made a beeline for the first aid aisle, bandages, disinfected, arnica gel for the bruising blooming on my ribs, along my ribs. I even grabbed a tiny tin of mints because if you gonna hurt, you might as well have a fresh breath while doing it. I turned down the next aisle looking for pain relievers and froze. Customers stood still at the end of aisles, necks craned. Someone dropped a bottle, another backed away from the register, hands raised slowly. And that's when I saw him. No supervillain, no robot, just a man sweating, hands shaking, and holding what looked like some modified stun gun aimed at the pharmacist. My stomach dropped. He was yelling something I couldn't hear. His voice, a tiny echo, a tinny echo over the dull roar in my ears. Panic, rage, desperation. He gestured towards the counter with the weapon, wild eyed, incoherent. Behind the shelves, a mom clutched her child to her chest. Another customer slowly crouched, whispering a prayer. And me? I backed up into the shelves behind me, crouching low, heart pounding. Stay calm, Calder. You've seen worse. You've seen fire breathing mutants for crying out loud. I ducked behind the cold and flu shelf and held my breath, listening, waiting until I heard a voice, low, casual, and completely out of place. Hey, man, you mind pointing that thing somewhere else? I've got a sensitive complexion. My head snapped up. There is no way. I leaned just enough to peek around the edge of the shelf, and there it was, in black jeans, a plain white tee, and a denim jacket, hair tousled, eyes steady. Johnny freaking Storm. Not flying, not flaming, just there. His hands were up, palms open, expression unreadable, but something in his voice cut through the tension like a knife. He stepped forward twice, calm, controlled, like he'd done this before. Don't, the man barked, jerking the weapon towards him. Johnny didn't flinch. Look, I'm not here to stop you, he said, even though clearly he was. I'm just saying you don't want to do this, and definitely not in front of a row of Boko vitamins. The guy's grip wavered. Johnny took one more step, close now, and then he struck, weapon kicked aside, man pinned to the floor with one arm behind his back before he even had a chance to blink. I exhaled so hard I nearly tipped over the shelf. Cops stormed in minutes later like they'd just been waiting for the go ahead. Johnny straightened, raised his hands, and let them do their thing. He caught my eye as he walked the guy out in cuffs. My eyes widened. Nope. I spun on my heel and ducked back down the aisle, practically sprinting, walking past the gauze and anti-itch creams like a woman on a mission. Who needs to care for serious wounds anyway? Definitely not me. I reached the end of the aisle and ran smack into a chest, a warm, smug, and entirely too familiar chest. You've got to be kidding me, I muttered, my forehead already sinking forward against the denim jacket. Starting to think you're following me, sweetheart, Johnny Storm said, tilting his head as he looked down at me, arms crossed, that stupidly charismatic smirk parked on his face like it paid rent. I stepped back fast. Uh-oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, shoot. Sorry, hold on. Lost my place. Uh, who did that? One of y'all did that. Definitely not me. Okay, hold on. Like it paid rent. I stepped back fast, trying to recover my dignity and failing, obviously. What are you? The patron saint of bad timing? I snapped. I like to think I like to think of it as heroic punctuality. I rolled my eyes and went to step past him, but he sidestepped, smooth, cocky, infuriating. You all right? He asked, voice dropping just enough that it made my stomach do that stupid flip. I'm fine, I huffed. He raised an eyebrow. Didn't look like you were planning to make it to checkout. I was strategically withdrawing. Big difference. His grin widened. Right. Like yesterday when you strategically withdrew into a taxi and nearly got flattened. I narrowed my eyes. You do realize most people run away from danger without commentary, right? He shrugged. Commentary's kind of my thing. I noticed, I muttered. Are you a stalker or is this just an incredibly annoying coincidence? He leaned one shoulder against the shelf, hands in his pocket, looking far too comfortable. Coincidence? Probably. Annoying? Definitely. But if it helps, I didn't know you were going to be here. Good, I said, brushing past him and heading towards the front. And yet he followed. Hey, he called after me. You didn't even finish your shopping. Guess I'll bleed out on principle, I called, walking backward just long enough to catch the exasperated look flicker across his face. Worth it. I turned and kept walking fast out the front door, past the police tape, and straight into the noise of the city again. Midtown had moved on like it always did. Horns blared, pigeons fought over a ketchup packet. A cab driver shouted something in half English, half Spanish, and I left the adrenaline to start. And I felt the adrenaline start to bleed out of me with every step. Then I heard it. Calder. I groaned loud, not slowing. Tess? I kept going. Go away, flame boy. Okay, well, now I have to chase you. Footsteps, fast ones. I didn't make it half the block before he was suddenly beside me again, holding up a small plastic bag like it was a peace treaty. I've got your stuff. I stopped short. You bought my first aid? He nodded, completely unbothered. Figured you'd just make it worse if left to your own devices. I narrowed my eyes. You followed me out of the pharmacy. You realize that's not flattering, right? I paid for it, he grinned. That makes it chivalry. I stared at him. You're unbelievable. So I've been told. He shoved the bag into my chest. I took it on instinct. I blinked. You even grabbed the mints? He smirked, walking a few steps ahead now like he wasn't the intruder in my afternoon. Figured if you were going to be stubborn, you could at least have minty breath while doing it. I caught up to him. That's oddly considerate for someone who called me a glorified intern yesterday. Growth, he said. It's called growth. We walked a few more steps in silence, the kind that cracked a little, even when the words weren't flying. You didn't have to do this, I said finally, quieter now. He glanced sideways. Didn't have to save you yesterday either. I didn't say anything. His hand slid into his jacket pocket again, shoulders rising in a slow shrug. Look, I don't do the whole checking up on civilians thing, all right? But you've got a real knack for being in the way of danger. You got a real knack for showing up right when I do, I countered, clutching the pharmacy bag tighter as we walked side by side. He glanced down at me, a flicker of amusement in his eyes. What can I say? You're bad news, Calder. Thanks, I deadpanned. Add that to my resume. Tess Calder, certified menace, mildly flammable. Hold on, you guys. Sorry about this. Okay, let's get back to it, y'all. That was a good phone call. You've got a real knack for showing up right when I do, I countered, clutching the pharmacy bag tighter as we walked side by side. He glanced down at me, a flicker of amusement in his eyes. What can I say? You're bad news, Calder. Thanks, I deadpanned. Add that to my resume. Tess Calder, certified menace, mildly flammable. Johnny grinned. You're practically attract chaos. I'll give you this, though. You've got guts. Yeah, I muttered, and a throbbing temple and a bruised ego to match. He gave me a sidelong glance. Really, though, why do you do it? I blinked. What? Throw myself into collapsing buildings and hope I catch it on camera? He didn't answer, just looked at me, genuinely curious. I sighed, toeing a crack in the sidewalk as we slowed near the edge of a quiet park. Because people deserve to know what's happening, the real version, not just the polished statements or half truths. They need someone who's not afraid to stand close and say, hey, this is what it actually looks like. He nodded slowly, like he wasn't expecting me to be serious, but also wasn't surprised. Then he said, and here I thought it was just because you liked playing damsel. I rolled my eyes so hard, I nearly sprained something. You wish? Trust me, if I had a choice, you wouldn't be the one saving me. Ouch, he said with mock offense, clutching his chest like I'd stabbed him. I flame, I fly, I snatch you out of the path of death, and this is the thanks I get. I gave you a whole feature headline, I said, raising a brow. That's basically the journalistic equivalent of a standing ovation. Yeah, but you called me Flame Boy. Would you have preferred Hot Head? His lips twitched. What do you have against me, Calder? I groaned, dragging my hand down my face. I don't have anything against you. I sighed. I don't like you. He gave a low chuckle but didn't look away. Well, that was brutal. I stopped walking. He did too. It's not personal, I said, quieter this time. You just you represent the part of the story everybody already looks at, the loud part, the flashy one. I've spent the last 2 years chasing all the people no one's watching. A long silence passed. Johnny didn't say anything for a minute, just stood there, hands still tucked in his jacket pockets, watching me like he was trying to solve something I didn't even know I'd written on my face. You know, he said finally, it's a weird feeling when someone says they don't like you and it still feels kind of good. I frowned. What? What? People usually just pretend to love you? He shrugged, a little more sheepish now. They love what I look like, what I do, what I say on camera. But not a lot of them stick around for anything deeper than the fire tricks. I didn't mean to soften, but it happened anyway. The cocky grin was gone, and in its place was something almost boyish. Not insecure, just exposed. Maybe you should stop setting things on fire then, I said, a little less snarky, a little more dry. He cracked a smile, eyes dropping to the sidewalk. Yeah, well, it's kind of hardwired at this point. Before I could respond, a sharp squeal pierced the quiet. Oh my God, is that him? I blinked, already bracing for impact. Two girls, maybe high schoolers, were hustling across the street, half jogging, eyes wide, and locked on the guy beside me. One clutched a notebook, the other one had a phone out, held at that particular vertical tilt that made me want to walk into traffic. Johnny turned towards them, visibly stiffening for half a second. Then, just like that, the mask dropped into place. That golden grin, the lean of his shoulders, charm on tap. I watched it happen, equal part fascinated and exhausted. Hi, ladies, he said smoothly, voice slipping into that flirty register like it lived there. What can I do for you? Can we get a picture? One asked breathlessly, already shoving the phone at him. You were so amazing during the alien thing last night. Oh, that? Just another Tuesday, he said with a wink, already positioning himself between them. They giggled like synchronized fangirls. I took a small step back, watched from the sidewalk, hands in my jacket pocket, chewing on the inside of my cheek. He posed, smiled, signed the notebook with a flourish, thanked them, even remembered to wave as they skipped off like he'd sprinkled them with glitter. And then he turned back to me. I raised an eyebrow. Do you always carry Sharpies? He held it up like a magician revealing his final trick. Emergency use only. You never know when you'll be ambushed by the fan club. Sure, I muttered. Next time, maybe let them breathe between words. He grinned but didn't say anything, just slid the marker back into his jacket, his gaze still locked in on mine. What? I asked. Nothing, he said, stepping closer, just trying to figure out what it'd take to get you to smile at me like that. I scoffed, rolling my eyes so hard I saw the inside of my skull, a lobotomy, probably. He laughed, not insulted in the slightest. Duly noted. Well, well, well. Ren ain't no saint. This is getting good. Hi, Tina, baby. What y'all thinking about it so far? It's getting good, ain't it? This is getting a good, honey. Okay, let's get into it. Wait a minute, let me see something. Let me see how many we got. Ooh, ooh, 60. 60, and we only on 5. Lord, hot off the press. The office smelled like burnt coffee and ambition, mostly stale, occasionally overwhelming. I pushed through the front doors, balancing a paper bag from the bakery and what was left of my dignity. The morning crowd hadn't fully filed in yet, which meant I got to dodge Sharon from accounting's passive aggressive comment about my field wardrobe for at least another 10 minutes. I was halfway to my desk when I heard it. Calder! Dan's voice cracked like a whip through a bullpen. I froze, croissant halfway to my mouth. The last time Dan sounded that energized, someone had confused our paper with the Times and actually subscribed. Normally, he spoke with the enthusiasm of a wet sponge, so the fact that he was practically bounding out of his office like a caffeinated golden retriever, suspicious. He waved me over, practically vibrating. Morning, Dan, I said warily. Office, now! Bring your notebook! Yep, suspicion confirmed. I followed him in, taking a seat across from his desk that hadn't seen daylight under its piles of folders since World War One. Is this about the stolen lunch thing? I asked, trashing my croissant just in case. Dan beamed. I don't know what kind of voodoo you pulled, Calder, but your piece hit numbers we haven't seen since that bid you did on that mutant detainment reform last year. I blinked. Seriously? He spun his chair around and yanked a stack of papers from the tray behind him. Readership doubled overnight. Doubled. You know what that means? People like explosions? That people like you, he corrected, pointing the coffee-stained finger at me. The voice, the angle, the on-the-ground feel of it. It's fresh, gritty, unapologetic. We need more of it. I stared, weary. Are you complimenting me? He ignored that, which is why I want to pitch something big. A series. You embedded, so to speak, with the superhuman community, mutants, enhanced alien tech cases, whatever's hot. Hot? I echoed flatly. Dan missed the joke or ignored it. Starting with the Fantastic Four. I blinked. You're joking. He grinned. Nope. Torch is marketable. Sue Storm, even better. We'll start with low touch interviews, light questions. Get in where we can. Follow up when they're seen publicly. You keep that tone. Cut through the hero worship. Give people the real stuff. So basically, I become the voice of capes and chaos? Exactly! I sat back, letting that sink in. My stomach was still sore, my temples still bandaged, and now I was apparently being handed front page permission to poke the fire. Great. Dan leaned in, lowering his voice a touch. You've got something the others don't, Calder. They want to be liked. You want the truth. And for some reason, people are finally listening. My fingers tightened around my pen. Let me guess, I said. You already reached out to their PR prep? We have a contact at the Baxter building. I'm working on a pitch for a full feature. I tilted my head. Wait, their PR rep or ours? Darren cleared his throat. Ours for now. Baby steps. I stared out the slated blinds for a moment. watching the newsroom come to life, phones ringing, typewriters crackling, people moving like ants with too many opinions. A series on the Fantastic Four, which meant more fire, more chaos, and more time with the human matchstick himself. I stood slowly. All right, I said, I'll do it. Dan's grin stretched ear to ear. But I want a $3 raise. He blinked like the concept of money had just been introduced to him. $3 per article, I added, because I enjoy watching his face go through the 5 stages of budget grief. Dan sputtered. You nearly got incinerated, and suddenly you think you're a Pulitzer material? No, I said, flipping my notebook closed with a satisfying snap. I think I'm the only person in this office, who doesn't faint at the sound of sirens and knows how to spell cataclysmic under pressure. He stared. I stared back. Then he sighed, long and dramatic. 150 raise, and I'll buy you a first aid kit. 150 raise, and I'll buy you a new first aid kit. 2, I countered, and I want a bakery scone added back to the company card. And I want the bakery scone added back to the company card. Dan groaned like I'd asked for a yacht. Fine. But if you get any more mouthy, I'm assigning you to cover sewer leaks in Queens. Love you too, Dan, I said, already walking out. His voice followed after me. Don't get cocky, Calder. Too late. I didn't go straight home. After the meeting with Dan, I needed air, not city air exactly. That was 40% exhaust fumes, 20% cigarette smoke, and 100% pigeons with no respect for personal space. But movement, space to think. I wandered through Midtown, sipping too hot coffee and trying to ignore the dull headache behind my eyes. I picked up some pain medication at the corner store without being nearly mugged this time, and ducked into the bookstore next to the deli. It smelled like old pages and ambition. Comforting, familiar. No flaming superheroes or malfunctioning tech beasts. Just books, just tests. I flipped through the photography manual I didn't need, bought it anyway, then headed back to the apartment. Grandma was watching her soap opera when I came in. She gave me a once-over, noted the bag, and said nothing except leftovers are in the fridge. I kissed the top of her head and murmured thanks before retreating to my room. It was still messy, camera gear still on the floor, laundry basket half folded, one of Johnny's business cards shoved under a notebook, not that I'd admit to keeping it. I sighed, collapsed onto the bed, and stared at the ceiling. A few days of peace. That's all I needed. No fire, no headlines, no cocky, heat-powered nuances calling me Calder like it was a challenge. Just me, and maybe, just maybe, a quiet weekend. The man, the myth, the matchstick. Okay, period. What's going on, everybody? Yes, I'm loving. I like that chapter. Chapter 5. It was short and cute, wasn't it? Short and cute, wasn't it? Yes, honey. Let's get into it. I am super proud of Ren Ain't No Saint for this particular version of his book, Wildfire Johnny Storm F4 on Wattpad. Very proud of him, his characters. Definitely a fan. Going to follow. Cool. You guys go make sure you follow Ren Ain't No Saint. Leave them some comments. Yes. I am going to take a small break and put some type of liquid in my mouth before I continue to read. Yes, baby. Let's get into it. Period. Yes. Octave. Who is enjoying the reading? Let me get a like. 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 That one. Like. Hit the like. Hit the like button. Hit the like. Hit the like. Hit I like, yeah. All right, let's get back into it. Let's get back into it. Let go, let go, let go, let go. Let's get back. All right, y'all. All right, all right. Let's get back into it. Thank you guys for giving me that little chance to take my little um water break, honey, because y'all know when you talk this much, when you're talking this much, you want to know something so funny about my online uh personality and the fact that I am an online personality and I literally talk for a living is that in my destiny chart, which is for my birthday, October 12th, it literally says that I have endless conversations. So that's so funny. But let's get back into this read. Shout out to Read Ain't No Saint on Wattpad. We are on chapter 6, The Man, the Myth, and the Matchstick. Let's get into it. I walked into the office with my coffee mug I walked into the office with my coffee still too full, my hair still wet from the world's fastest shower, and a vague hope that maybe this day would start quietly. Idiot. I barely made it 2 steps inside before Sharon from accounting screamed, Calder, you're needed in conference A. Like I was being summoned to war. Why? What did I do now? I muttered, clutching my coffee like a lifeline as I speed walked past the copier. Someone shoved a muffin into my hands. Someone else tried to blot concealer on the cut above my eyebrow as I passed. I dodged both. I reached the glass conference room just in time for Dan to yell, There she is! Like I was late for my own intervention. The room was packed. Half the staff, 2 people I didn't recognize, a guy with a camera and another with a makeup bag. Makeup bag. I froze. No, I said immediately. Nope, whatever this is, I'm not doing it. Dan beamed like I said yes. Tess, meet the stylist, the image coordinator for the Baxter intro piece. They're here to give you a little polish. Polish? I echoed, horrified. You know, he said, already ushering me towards the chair. Just a quick once over. Fix the bruises, hide the fact that you look like you've been in a bar fight with a microwave. I gaped at him. That's my brand, Dan. Your brand is reckless. I'm going for reliable. He handed me a folder. Your first interview is today at the Baxter Building, noon sharp. I nearly dropped the muffin. You said we start light, I hissed, backing away from the woman holding what looked like a bronzer and a small torture device. And we are, Dan said brightly. We're sending you in for a tour, meet and greet, handshake, maybe a quote if one of them is feeling friendly. And if they're not, I shot back. He gave me a look. Then do that thing you do where you annoy them until they give in. One of the makeup people clicked her tongue. Sweetheart, sit. You've got uneven undertones and stressed skin. I threw Dan the meanest glare I could muster. You're paying for this. I already submitted the receipt to finance. I sat grumbling. They dabbed and bended and curled and powdered while I plotted my editor's slow and theatrical demise. By the time they were done, I looked, well, not like me. More polished, less dodged an explosion, and more Reed's press releases for brunch. My Converse stayed, though. I'd die on that hill. Dan handed me a press badge with a little holographic sticker on it. This gets you in the front door. Try not to blow it. I grabbed the badge, straightened my jacket, and muttered, Flame Boy is going to eat me alive. I sat stiffly in the back seat, watching Manhattan blur past the window, one hunk drenched block at a time. My press badge was warm in my pocket, my camera bag dug into my side. My pulse hadn't slowed down since Dan said those words, Baxter Building. The makeup girl told me to breathe. The stylist told me to stand up straighter. Dan told me not to act like myself. Helpful. The cab rattled over a pothole. I flinched. This is fine. I've done bigger things, braver things, things that involve less makeup and more body armor. I'd walked straight into burning buildings, dodged laser blasts, even faced down One very angry mutant with a vendetta against the Department of Sanitation. But this was different. This wasn't hiding behind the camera or throwing a mic in someone's face mid crisis. This was walking into the lion's den with a press badge and a thin layer of concealer. The Fantastic Four weren't just superheroes, they were celebrities, science experiments, a PR machine wrapped in flame and elastic and cosmic rays. God help me. I checked the rearview mirror. My cheeks were flushed, the cut on my temple barely visible under the makeup. My eyes looked sharp, but there was something else there too, something jittery, hesitant. The cab the cab turned east, rounding the corner onto 42nd. Traffic thickened, pedestrians slowed, craning their necks. And then I saw it, the Baxter building. It didn't just rise, it loomed. Over 50 stories of glass, steel, and science fiction swagger, towering over the skyline like it knew it was more important than everything else around it. Sleek lines, reflective panels, that glowing four at the top, shining like spotlight for the city's strangest elite. I swallowed. It looked unreal and suddenly very, very real. The cab slowed to a stop a block away. I paid the driver with shaky fingers, adjusted the strap on my bag, and stepped out into the streets. A gust of wind caught my jacket as I stared up at the building, at the monolith of genius, chaos, and one very smug man who could literally set himself on fire. I can do this. Probably, maybe, hopefully, before the makeup melted off my face. I squared my shoulders and started walking. The closer I got, the more it felt like I was walking into a movie set. The sidewalks were roped off with reinforced barricades, manned by guards in navy jackets and those earpieces that made them look more Secret Service than building security. Tourists lingered on the other side, trying to snap photos through the tinted glass. I kept my head down, shoulders hunched against the wind. A man in a black suit stepped in front of me before I even reached the door. Authorized personnel. I don't want to be involved in none of that drama. I don't want to. What in the world?
I don't think that girl's on drama time. I just feel like she's a young kid. You know what I'm saying?
What in the world? That was weird. My phone just started playing Cardi B out the clear sky. Okay. A man with a black suit stepped in front of me before I even reached the door. Authorized personnel only, he said flatly, holding out a hand. I pulled out my press badge, flipping it between two fingers like I'd done this 300 times. Tess Calder, Daily Metro. I'm here for a scheduled media tour. He didn't blink. Badge, ID, and signature. I handed them over, trying not to fidget while he scanned my ID under a little device that made an angry beep before turning green. He handed it all back and murmured something into his comm. Another guard appeared beside me a moment later. You'll be escorted to the main floor, then up to the media wing on level 12. Stay within your permitted zones unless otherwise directed. Okay, Dad, I muttered under my skin. They either didn't hear or didn't care. The doors parted with a whisper of air, and I stepped inside the lobby. The outside was impressive. The inside was surreal. The space was huge, floor to ceiling windows casting geometric shadows across polished white tile. A curved wall of glass overlooked a sunken tech lab I couldn't begin to understand. Somewhere far above, a glass elevator zipped upward at a speed that made my stomach turn just watching it. People moved through the space with a calm precision, lab coats, business suits, an occasional powered exosuit rolling by like that was just a Tuesday. I tried not to gape, tried not to let the awe settle in on my face. This wasn't the kind of place you got used to. This was the kind of place you faked being used to. A woman with a headset appeared from behind the front desk, and gave me a tight smile. Miss Calder. I gave a brief nod. Right this way. She led me toward the elevator, tapping her badge on a glowing panel. The doors opened with a soft ding. You'll be meeting with the director of external relations for now, she said, stepping beside me. The team may drop in depending on availability. I nervously scratched the base of my neck. Define team. Calder, that voice. I didn't need to turn around to know who it belonged to, but I did anyway, slowly, like I was trying not to acknowledge the laws of physics that allowed someone to be both walking a walking fire hazard and stupidly good looking. There he was in a navy bomber jacket and black jeans, hair a little messy like he'd run his hand through it on his way in. No flames, no fanfare, just Johnny freaking Storm in casual clothes and a cocky grin that made my pulse forget what it was supposed to be doing. He gave a little wave. Well, this is unexpected. I slowly walked towards him. Is it though? Is it really? The woman who bought me up blinked. You two know each other? Johnny stepped closer, his eyes still fixed on me. We've had some fiery encounters. Don't start, I groaned. He turned to the assistant. You can go, Miss Timpton. I'll handle Calder personally. Her eyebrows inched up. Mr. Storm, protocol says, protocol says we're not supposed to fly into low altitude airspaces at Mach 10, but here we are. She hesitated for a beat, then turned on her heel and walked away, clearly used to this brand of chaos. Once she was gone, I crossed my arms. Is this a PR stunt, or are you genuinely allergic to letting me do anything without butting in? He looked entirely unbothered. What are you doing here, Calder? I adjusted the strap of my bag and forced my face into something halfway resembling neutral. The Daily Metro is launching a new segment, Superhuman Affairs. Weekly features, interviews, the occasional infield disaster recap if I'm truly lucky. He cocked an eyebrow. And let me guess, they picked you because you already have a talent for getting nearly flattened. They picked me, I said pointingly, because I'm the only one with the guts to report from the front line instead of hiding behind a desk. That made him smile. Not a smirk this time, a real one. Brief, crooked, far too distracting for his own good. Fair enough, he said, leading me down the hall. So what? This is a puff piece on the Fantastic Four? A behind the scenes look at a kind of shampoo I use? A behind the scenes look at what kind of shampoo I use? Oh, please. I scoffed, already walking past him to the corridor. No one cares about your hair. Sure they do. Aren't you aware of the Flaming Hearts fan club? He said with a smirk. That sounds like some a 13-year-old girl scribbles on the back of her notebook. He shrugged, unbothered. Still has over 1,000 members and 2 t-shirt designs. I gave him a sideways glance. Do they come with your face or just the inflated ego? Both, he said proudly. Limited edition. I'm not writing fan fiction, Storm, I muttered. Didn't say you were. But if you ever need a quote, I charge by compliments. I rolled my eyes, shoving his shoulder with mine. You are insufferable. You're still walking with me. Only because I don't know where I'm going, I muttered, trying not to look impressed by the gleaming corridor we were now passing through. Labs on one side, glass walled observation rooms on the other. People in lab coats bustled past us, some nodding politely, some not even looking up. The air smelled like danger and genius and budgets far too big for my understanding. Johnny casually gestured to a side room. That's where they keep the quantum stabilization chamber. Which does what? Something that probably kill you if you touch it, he said cheerfully. Charming. We kept walking, my shoes echoing slightly behind his lighter steps. So, he said after a moment, this new segment of yours, is it going to be fluff or are you actually going to say something? That caught me off guard. I'm trying to say something, I said quietly, about power, about the cost of it, what it means to be caught in a blast radius and still keep going, about people who don't get to walk away with a fan club and headlines. He nodded once, the grin fading just slightly. Then I guess you better get it right. I blinked. And for the first time since walking into this place, I started to wonder if there was more to Johnny Storm than the headlines and the heat. Of course, he ruined it 2 seconds later by gesturing grandly down another hallway and saying, Come on, Calder, you haven't even seen the cool stuff yet. I rolled my eyes but followed. You mean the flaming ego chamber wasn't the highlight? He gave a smug grin over his shoulders. Please, that's just the opening act. We passed through the sliding security doors into a sleek, high-ceiling winged field with displayed with displays that looked more like a museum than a lab. There were pieces of old tech behind glass, framed photographs of the team mid-mission, and even a scorched section of the team's original spacesuits labeled "Do Not Touch." He pointed things out with casual air, like this wasn't a building filled with billion-dollar science and secrets. We stopped by a narrow window overlooking what looked like a giant training chamber. The walls were scorched, dented, and reinforced with something that shimmered faintly on metal steroids. Test zone, he explained. We try not to blow up too much of the city these days. There was something thrilling about it all, dangerous and strange and entirely out of my depth, and yet I didn't want to leave. All right, Johnny finally said, spinning to face me. That concludes your incredibly exclusive, highly unauthorized, and mildly sarcastic tour of the Baxter building. Any final questions? I opened my mouth, no clue what I was actually going to ask, when a thunderous thud echoed from behind the door beside us. The floor vibrated, then another thud, the kind of sound that makes you instinctively flinch, even when you're pretty sure it's not headed for you. Before I could ask, the door flew open and a massive rock covered figure stepped through. I mean, massive, towering, broad shoulders, a walking landslide with eyes. I froze. Oh, I breathed, eyes wide. That's Johnny sighed. Yep. The thing, the thing looked from Johnny to me, brows raised like he walked in on something mildly inconvenient. She's the press, he rumbled, voice like gravel in a blender. Johnny clapped him on the shoulder. Ben Grimm, meet Tess Calder. Tess, meet Ben. Don't make fun of his bathrobe. Ben looked down. It's comfortable. It's plaid. Ben crossed his arms, rocky arms, the size of tree trunks, and stared down at me like he was waiting to see whether I'd scream or pass out. I stepped forward. Love the robe. He blinked, then to my shock, he chuckled. Finally, someone with taste. Johnny looked between us, mock offended. What's with you and winning people over? I shrugged. Some of us don't need fan clubs, remember? Ben shook his head and muttered something about kids these days before heading off down the corridor, the floor trembling slightly beneath him. Johnny just stared after him. Then he glanced back at me, one brow raised. Well, you survived the final boss. I'm impressed. Not gonna lie, I said, brushing my hair behind my ear. For a second, I thought he was the backup security team. He grinned. Nah, he is the security system. I thought he was the backup security system. He grinned. Nah, he is the security system. We rounded the corner just as another set of double doors opened, and I spotted them immediately. Reed Richards stood like he was mid thought, not mid conversation, mid thought, like his brain had to finish running the calculations before his mouth caught up. His posture was relaxed, but his eyes, sharper than glass, calculating, curious, a little unreadable. Next to him was a woman who somehow managed to command more presence without saying a word. Blonde hair pulled into a clean twist, slate blue eyes that seemed to see straight through me, and an expression that balanced grace with edge, like she could disarm a bomb and then host a dinner party without missing a beat. Sue Storm, the invisible woman. I straightened instinctively. Johnny's voice cut through the moment. Hey, look at who I found sneaking around the basement. Reed looked up, eyes flicking to me in confusion at first. Then he blinks and shakes his head. Sorry, you must be Tess Calder. I offered a small nod. Yes, sir, it's an honor. He smiled faintly, then extended his hand. Reed Richards, and no need for formalities. We're not great at them. And no, Reed Richards, and no need for formalities. We're not great at them. Sue stepped forward, her handshake firm and warm. Nice to meet you, she smiled. I nodded my head, definitely not starstruck right now. We've read your piece, she said. It was unfiltered, honest, Not many reporters take that approach. I take what I see, I said, and try not to get killed while doing it. Johnny coughed. Key word being try. I didn't look at him. I kept my even tone. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Sue smiled genuine. We're selective about who we let in, but we figured if Johnny trusts you, then we could too. I'm grateful for the opportunity, I said. I know there's a lot of voices out here trying to define people like you. I'd rather let you guys speak for yourselves. There was a pause. Then Reed glanced at Johnny. You're giving her a tort? Johnny shrugged. She hasn't died yet. Sue raised an eyebrow. Progress. A small chuckle escaped me before I could stop it. Reed gave a slight nod. Well, we'll let you two finish. If you have any questions, we'll be in the research wing. Sue's hand brushed my arm as she passed. Don't let him get under your skin too much. And just like that, they were gone, disappearing down the hall like the power couple made of brain cells in precision. Johnny turned to me with a smirk. See, I told you they were not so bad. I exhaled slowly, my nerves finally catching up to me. They're a lot. They're also the best shot that this city's got, he said. So, yeah, they can be a lot. I glanced around at the endless polished corridors. How long until I stop feeling like an intruder in the science museum? He grinned. I'll let you know when I figure it out. I glanced at the nearest clock and felt the pressure of the outside world start to creep back in. My editor was probably expecting a check in, maybe even a rough outline today. And despite everything, I still had half a mind to try and seem professional. I cleared my throat. I should probably head back soon, get started on the write up, and get started on the write up while it's still fresh. Johnny tilted his head, lips twitching like I just said something funny. You could, he said slowly. Or, I raised an eyebrow. Or, he leaned me against the wall, arms crossed, eyes, he leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes gleaming like he knew exactly which buttons to push. You could stay a little longer, maybe get a few behind the scenes details, the kind of insider access that makes your editor foam at the mouth. I stared up at him, unimpressed. Bribery now? He held up both hands. Not bribery, just extended professional courtesy. Totally above board. Uh huh. I'm just saying, he said, pushing off the wall and gesturing towards another corridor. You've already got the badge. You've seen the public face. Why not see the part most people don't get to? I mean, unless you're worried you can't keep up. My eyes narrowed. You're baiting me. Am I, he said innocently, or am I offering you the kind of scoop every reporter in this city would sell their spleen for? I bit the inside of my cheek. He had a point. A frustrating, smirking, walking fire hazard of a point. I sighed. 10 more minutes. He turned on his heel, smug as ever. 30. And just like that, I followed. Because for better or worse, Johnny Storm always knew how to make staying feel a little bit more tempting than leaving. Oh, you falling in love with Johnny Storm. Oh, she falling in love. Hi, pussycat. Let him out of there, Rihanna. Jimmy, you want to come out? Rihanna, Rihanna Renee. Let him out of there. Thank you, guys. Yes, Boo don't get cottonmouth. Right. Thank you guys for joining me for this book read. That was chapter 4, 5, 6, and we are now on chapter 7. Jimmy, come here. Come here, Jimmy. Okay. When your mother tells you to come, you come. Okay. That way you don't end up getting in trouble. Do you want to say hi to the book club? Come up here. Up, up. You want to say hello? Would you like to say hello to the book club? Say hi. Say hello to everyone. This is my huge Belgian Malinois. And he wants to say hi to you guys. He's going to be reading to you guys very soon. All right. Okay, go play. All right. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that was Wildfire. Guys, we are going to be I'm gonna come back live in a second. Maybe not a second, maybe like in about an hour or two. And we're going to read a this urban book that I have been setting up for us to read for quite some time. Um Also, you guys, I want to start doing different stuff on this channel. We got to get it popping. We got to get it popping. Okay, like for real, I'm so serious. I'm about to create something for you guys to purchase, so that you guys can have what was in my brain for you to have. And I can bring that to fruition for you guys, because one thing that I'm noticing is that I have all these things lined up that I need to do for y'all, for my book club channel, that's not getting done. So number one, I want to start my morning show. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna make sure that I make a list of things that I want to do for my book club throughout the day, and I'm gonna hang those things up. And when I'm not working, we're gonna get those things done. Another thing that I want for us to do is I want us to start doing vision boards on this channel, at least maybe every Friday or every Saturday, if I'm not like out, whatever, but at least once a week or once. uh, Okay, if you have a vision board, you don't need to do it once a week. Maybe once a month. Maybe once a month. We could do vision board for the first Friday. That'll be vision board day. What do you guys think about those ideas? Also, I want us to have this particular book that I'm creating. I want us to have it collectively, so that when I be like, oh, write this down or take this or take that, you know what I mean? You guys are able to go to this page and be like, oh yeah, she did do this and that and the other. So I'm really, really working on getting this book out to y'all. I know it seemed like I'm not doing a lot. I am, and then also I'm also working outside of the internet. I can't afford to just sit around and just work on the internet right now. Um so this is how I'm having to do it. Understand what I'm saying? So yeah, so I will be back in about 1 hour, or two. An hour, give me an hour or two, because I actually want to start on this I'm starting on this different project, and I think it's gonna be so bomb. I really need y'all support. I'm telling you, I know I sounded like I was just about to cry, because I need y'all support. Melissa said, love the vision board. I did love the first Friday of the month idea. The way we remember. Yes. Okay. Okay. Yes. So we will do the vision board on the first Friday of the month. But I really, really need y'all support on the things that I'm going to be doing on the channel. I'm working on it. All I could do is ask y'all to give me some grace and some time. Y'all see what I've been going through. I've been very distracted. I've allowed someone to distract my life, and that's not me. So now I'm having to redo, rebuild, read this and read that. Okay. Um, um, on on the morning show is when I'll be doing story time. If someone writes to me and they don't mind me telling their story, or they write it to me so that I can tell their story, on the morning show is when I'll be doing that story time. So I will be figuring it out from here. Um, mm. The next time you guys see me on StreamYard, you guys will see me with all of the features, so that we can take full advantage of this as well. There's a few more things I wanted to tell y'all that it's slipping my mind right now, but I'm sure when I come back with our urban read, you guys will be ready. Hold on, let me see something. Let me see something. Let me see something. Where is it at? Book club. Book club. Uh, Hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me pull something up. Oh, y'all didn't think I could type with these long ass nails? Can. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Sorry. And um okay, let me see. Yep. Okay. All right. So perfect. I have something super duper planned for y'all. Something so cute. The OGs will always be here for you. Period. Thank you, Melissa. I surely do appreciate that. You know what I would like for you guys to do? What I would really really like for you guys to do? Um, the ones of you, those of you who are active with me right now on this channel, if you can go up and down my comment section and let my old subscribers, because you guys will see like this comment from 4 years ago, in different videos. If you can go up and down my videos, and if you see somebody from my old videos from like 4 years ago or whatever, let them know the channel is back active. Hey, have you seen the new book read that she just did yesterday? You know what I'm saying? Let them know that, hey, we getting it back popping around here. The channel is back active, and you guys are willing, you guys are welcome to go watch her new stuff. That's what I would appreciate. Wake up my old subs on this channel. I would appreciate that for real. So yeah, I'm getting something together for you guys for my next read. This about to be so fun. All right, let me go so I can get back to this read in a minute. I'll see you guys in about an hour or two. Peace.